Hello, everyone. Welcome to this presentation of these updates of our organic code of All Dance International to this new year of 2025. I hope everyone are well in this new year, and I wish a very new year to everyone. I know you were hoping to see here Sandra. Sandra had some small investigation, so I will be here presenting these new updates to the rules into the organic code, and then just to be clear for everyone that are here or that will be joining us in the next hours. Next hour will be an hour, I think. This will be just a presentation of these updates, and then in the future days we'll have a new training with Sandra and the teachers of each style that will explain some of the details with more technical detail, and not just the updates of the rules. But I will advise you, everyone, and especially if you are just watching this beginning, that you stay with us and that you see all these change of rules, because this can make the difference for your participation in All Dance International. If you know the rules, if you have this master of the rules and organic code of All Dance, you will have a better performance, you will have better results, and most of all, you don't have any surprise after the championships, because you'll do your inscriptions, you'll do your participations with all the information, so you can adjust your participations to the best of All Dance. And just one more note before we start, and I'm giving here some minutes so everyone can join us at 12 p.m. Panama time. We'll have the same presentation of the new the changes of the organic code in Spanish. So this will be in English. This first presentation will be in English, and then at 12 p.m. Panama time. So see what is the time changes for your country. Nowadays, if you go to Google, to your phone, Android, iPhone, you can see the time difference to anywhere in the world. You can see what is the time in your country, but will be at 12 p.m. in Panama time. We'll have this presentation of these changes in Spanish, and will be with Daniela, our subdirector of the School of Leaders and coordinator in All Dance. Starting now with these changes. When you enter, I will use our website, and for all, you can see all these rules in our organic codes in the website www.alldancerules.com. You have all there, all detailed. So I invite you, first of all, to go to alldancerules.com to see these changes, and we'll see this first warning saying that the changes will be in gray. If for some reason the page is in Spanish and you prefer in English, you can click here. You'll have like a United States flag, and you can click and change to English. And I will use the website so everyone can keep up with this presentation and can check these changes after this meeting. In this first page of the organic code, I invite you to see our information about All Dance, about our principles, our ethics, about our vision for dance and how dance can bring all together. There's no changes, so I will not notice them particularly, but I advise you to read. Then here in members, and just before I continue, any special question in the chat? I don't know, I'm saying if everyone can send a question in the chat. I think so. Just send me a question if for some reason I'm not explaining something so well as you wish. But here in the members, we don't have any specific changes. We have of all of our team of All Dance, with here our CEO and director Maria Fernanda Castro, our founder, here leading, and Daniela for the ones who noticed, and a lot of our team all around the world. And you can check here our team. It's in gray because it's more detailed who is member of the team, but we have no main changes, but I invite you to know our all dance team. And now reaching our main changes and then the reason you are here in this meeting. And we start with the dance modalities. Here in the dance modalities, one of the main changes are in our organization. How do we organize our modalities? And we create these notions of the blocks of these groups, this segmentation of modalities, so we can have a better organization of the modalities. So we can, even in the championships, do some groups if it is the better for the championships organization. And even for the special awards purposes, we have created these 5 groups: the academic stage dances, the world cultures, social dances, urban styles, and dance shows. And all our modalities will be grouped in these main groups. And also, I want to tell you that we have some new modalities and some new sub-modalities. In a total, now that you have a total of 27 modalities and 49 sub-modalities that are work in these groups. I will just notice the changes. I'll just tell you about the changes. You can see all, and I invite you to read all the descriptions of all the modalities, especially the ones that you participate in our championships in All Dance International. I invite you to go there, to read, to check all the doubts you can have, and you know that any doubt you have, you can always check with the executives that manage the championship you will participate. If it's a national championship, you can run with your national director or national executives that are managing the championship. If it's international championship, you can run with the international executives that are running the international championship. Any doubt, all of our team is always at your disposal. Checking here, I now notice that what are the changes that we made here in these modalities. And one more notice, as I said in the beginning, if you just enter the meeting, this is just a meeting to inform you what are the changes in the organic code. This is not a technical training in meeting. We'll have in the future days have a technical meeting that will have our technical director, Sandra Correa, and the teachers that leads all of these modalities, explaining each of one of these modalities with more detail of each of one of the modalities. Here I just notice and make aware of the changes. Starting here in All Dance Ballet. Here in All Dance Ballet, we have the change in Ballet Unique Creation. In this Ballet Unique Creation, I want to make you aware that we have made some difference for the new All Dancers, Pre-Mini, Mini, and Thriller divisions. That in this sub-modality, for these ages and this level, if you have dancers in your All Dancers, if you have dancers in your All Dancers, students or open students in Pre-Mini, Mini, and Children, you can use piano class music or classical music from well-known ballet classic works, some pieces we have, but we noticed that you can't include, for example, soundtracks from some movies, Disney movies with some lyrics or instrumental soundtracks. This is Ballet Unique Creation, so we shoot new works and show works. We have all this. You should keep from some piano class and classical music from pieces you know from ballet. This is one note, is some is more detailed and here for you. Then if we continue and keep up with these changes, we have in jazz lyrical, always people had some doubts. Here we don't have a major change, but we have a more clear text. So we can help you understand better what is the definition of lyrical jazz. I invite you to read here, for example, this difference that this jazz modality is based on the expression and the emotions and feelings without reaching dramatism. So I invite you to read these descriptions. I know that lyrical jazz sometimes raises some questions about what it's in lyrical jazz, so I advise you to read this description with careful attention so you can understand it better. If we keep up from some changes, here we have some major changes in the world culture. In old dance Arabic, we have now new submodalities. We continue to have the traditional Arabic dances, but then in belly dance, we have separated the belly dance with the element and the belly dance without element. Again, I advise you to read all these detailed descriptions, but here the main changes is we'll have the belly dance dancing with an element, a belly dance dancing without an element. Continue in these modalities, in all dance ethnics. Here also we have, I ask for your attention because you have some major changes also here in all dance ethnics. We continue to have the traditional ethnic dances that most of you have presented some works. These are the choreographies that continue more to use the most authentic costumes, music, that represent the ethnic dances that most of you have presented, that are faithful to the original dance in the original presentation. And then we have separated the projected or stylized ethnic dance, and here what you can have. Here we can have these dances that are more stylized, that are more projected, that you are inspired in the traditional dance, in the original traditional dance. You are inspired in the costumes, you are inspired in the dance, but you can have some changes to stylize the dance, to sometimes have some changes that can do a new choreographical proposal based and always connected with the original dance, but that have a new interpretation, more moderate stylization, a new interpretation of these dances, always with disconnect and linked to the original dance. Here I want to do some information that, for example, in all of these dances, in the traditional ethnic dance, the projected and now in the popular, when the dances already exist in other modalities of all dance, you should inscribe and register in those modalities. Now, and then in the new style, a new submodality in the ethnic dance, you have the popular dances. Here, these popular dances are dances that are not still considered ethnic dances for some historic reason, are not considered yet ethnic dances, but are popular dances that are danced by the community, that are dances that are owned by the people, and the people recognize these dances as their own. You have here some examples, some the Brazilian funk, champeta from Colombia, swing creole from Costa Rica, hustle and country from United States, that are popular dances but are not ethnic dances. Again, I want to give you this warning that there are some dances that are already included, there's some popular dances that are already included in other old dance styles. An example, bachata, it's already in Latin dances. So if you dance a bachata, it's a popular dance from República Dominicana, but since it has his proper modality, it should inscribe in this proper modality and not in popular dances. Again, I'm just pointing out the changes in our organic rule, and in the future days, there will be new meetings with some technical details from our technical director, Sandra Correa, and the teachers that are specialized in these modalities, so they can explain with every detail of these modalities. Now, since we have to review all the rules and these changes, I will not keep up or stay giving every detail in these changes in modalities, since it's better so you can have a specific meeting just for these changes. And now I'll pointing out that all the new updates in the organic code, so nothing misses you in these changes. Keeping up in our new modalities or change of modality. In salsa, in all dance salsa, we also have here some changes. We just have now two submodalities. that are different in salsa de piso and salsa cabaret. In here, in salsa de piso, we have all kinds of salsa, can be in different times, salsa 1, salsa 2, salsa calenha, salsa rueda de casino, all of that. But the difference is it's a social dance. We have social salsa. We don't have any acrobatics. We don't have any tricks. It's a social salsa in all the rhythms that can be worked in salsa. On the other way, in salsa cabaret, where you can have all the tricks, all the lifts, since the 60% should be on salsa routine, can be again in all the times that you have in salsa, but you have only these two changes in salsa de piso and salsa cabaret. Just to remain in the old rules, we have difference by on which time salsa was danced, and now we just have this difference in salsa de piso and salsa cabaret. Continuing this change in the modalities, and now also some big changes that I want to point out here in the ribbon styles. We have a new submodality, it's all dance reggaeton, and we have some more detailed descriptions in some modalities. In the commercial dance, the text is detailed, and I want to point out that it's not allowed reggaeton in commercial dance. Commercial dance could be pure commercial dance and not reggaeton. Reggaeton has a new submodality for that. And to explain here about the music, and always that there was some questions about this. In commercial dance, the dancer, the artist, should be the center of the attention and not the music. The music should not have a lot of mixes and effects. Should be just one artist and a maximum of 3 different musics. And the goal is not to have the most beautiful remix. It's not the goal here in all dance commercial. It's to put the artists, the dancers in the center of the attention. So here the effects, I again advise you to read all these descriptions, but you can have pure reggaeton here and should have one single artist up to 3 songs. It's more clear, these descriptions, so please be aware of this. In urban show, the same, you have some more detailed and you have some changes. One of the main changes I want to warn you about, and please keep your focus here, is now that you need to have in your choreography at least 3 urban dance styles or techniques included in the choreography. And to be considered that you have these 3 urban dance styles, you have at least to have 4 counts of 8 without the music editing. So you have all the styles you can include here, some examples, but please be aware that you have these changes. All dance urban show continue to be what it was in the past, but we have this rule now that you have to at least have 3 urban dance styles or technique included on the choreography. One thing, and I will say this now that I will go to reggaeton, but about urban show, about hip hop, about all the dances, but usually is a thing that happens a lot in urban styles. It's please directors, please choreographers, be aware of the music. The music should not have inappropriate words. We will see this in the judgment, in the deductions. But now that I'm speaking about urban styles, please take care of your music tracks so you don't have deductions for inappropriate words. And now these new styles of all dance reggaeton. It's a new submodality we have in all dance. Then you can read, and I advise you again to read all these new description of all dance reggaeton about what music should be used in this reggaeton. That you have in reggaeton, we expect to have clear movements of hip and torso isolations, but be implemented mainly while maintaining the delicate extras or reggaeton, avoiding explicit sexualization in movements, and ensure there is no physical contact in the choreography. So please read this. Again, this will be explained with the teacher that are responsible for this modality in all dance, so he can explain all the details about reggaeton. Please read. It is a new submodality that we have here. Now reggaeton has a specific submodality and is not included in the other submodalities in urban styles. You should not use reggaeton in commercial dance. And again, you should take care and be aware of the music tracks you use, so you don't have any inappropriate words in your music. Continue. We have some also new changes, and now we have a all new modality here in all dance, the all dance pom-pom. Again, I invite you to read all the descriptions. I will resume the all dance pom-pom. It's similar for someone that you know has sheer dance. So it will be a kind of sheer dance with all this dance in all dance. You have to have at least 95% of the routine with the pom-poms. A very important detail also, and this relating to the judgment and the deductions. The pom-poms should be very well made, so you don't leave any remainings of the pom-poms in trash on the floor in the stage. Otherwise, that's a deductions. So when you do the pom-poms, you should be aware and be careful, so you don't leave any remainings of the pom-poms behind. Continue here also in the modalities. We go to K-pop. In K-pop, we also have some adjustments in the text. Usually, the advice in K-pop is just to have one music, but if you do a mix of musics, it should be from the same artist. This is clarified in this new text, that in K-pop you must have one artist. The advice is just to have one song, but if you do a mix, it's just one artist. And a new advice is that K-pop is original, and the origin and the main goal of K-pop is to represent these music groups from South Korea. So this K-pop is just because we are appearing new groups from other parts of the world. This K-pop is for the groups from South Korea, just to be clear about that. And again, all new modality in all dance hills is all dance hills. In all dance international is all dance hills. Here in all dance hills, I want to point out that this modality is not exclusive for women. All the people are very welcome to participate in this modality. This is a modality that it's just dance in heels. You should use the specific technique of heels in this modality. Again, since it's a new modality, I invite you to read all this detailed description of the modality. It will explain in the future days with all the focus in the technical details in the modality. I invite you to read this. It's a new modality, so you can check all of these details. And before I go to levels and divisions, I just want to point out that you should read all these modalities. It's very important that you understand in which modality your choreographies are best adapted, are inserted in the best. So your choreographers, your dancers can present the best one. If you have any doubts, again, I point out, you can reach any of the members of the team of All Dance International, reach the executive that are giving support to the registration in your country, in your championship, so they can help you understand, so they can help you take any doubt that you have about any modality. It's very important that you understand what we expect in each of one of these modalities. As I said, in resuming this page, now we have groups of modalities. You should read all these modalities and do what is best for your choreographies. Moving on to our changes in levels and divisions. Here in levels and divisions, I want to start pointing out in the new All Dancers that you have a more detailed text. it's not like we have a difference in the text. It's more detailed, explaining with more detail what you can or not do and what is included or not included in the new old answer level. And here, in just to clarify some doubts, the new old dancer is not just a dancer that is participating for the first time in Old Dance International. It's a dancer that are starting dancing, that are start performing, that have a dance that we can see that it's a very beginner dancer, and you have it here, meaning they are beginning in dance in general, regarding of the style, modalities to modality. The new old dancers, and I will use also this meeting to clarify some questions that are not changed but sometimes raises some questions. A dancer in new old dance should be a new old dancer in all the modalities. When you are a new old dancer, you are always a new old dancer. This is the first question that you should be aware. And it's not for the first time participating in old dance, it's a dancer that are beginning in dance in general. So it's very, if you allow me this term, incipient dancers that are really beginning. And now you can read more detailed what can be included in these new old dancers. And how I was saying, it's in all modalities, you cannot mix the levels. Then you in the table just change because now the Junior Open is adapted because you have the pre-mini from the 4 years old, but we'll see these in divisions. And now the Junior Open is adapted to the 4 years. Same in students, we have adapted the beginning age in Junior Open, and in Open we have here the question of the gold that are included in the level Open. I will detail more below this when I reach to the gold division and explain the gold division. I will just make this important notice also here in a lot of places that when we have these open productions, all ages in all levels, that mix all the ages in all the levels. In this new year, we'll allow small groups. I will get there, but just the big groups can apply to the special awards of Open Productions Excellence Open. The small groups will apply for Best Director, Best Choreography, Best Choreographer, among others, but will not apply to the Open Production Excellence Open, just the big. Continue here, and this I'll do a very detailed explanation also because we have a lot of doubts that appear here. That when you change the levels, first of all, as I said in New Old Dancer, New Old Dancer is just New Old Dancer. You can't mix levels, it's when you are beginning. We have also here, and just to point out that the New Old Dancer, it's how I say you have all here these details what he can do or not can do, and can participate up to 3 championships over the period of 2 years. So if he just participates in one championship per year, for example, the nationals, it's 2 years, in the 3rd year should go to students. If the New Old Dancer do 3 championships because do the national and then go to the qualifiers to the world and then goes to the national the next year, or do 3 championships in the same year, the national and then go to Old Dance Beach and then go to the world or to the continental, in the 4th championships should go to the student level, because that dancer, it no longer is a beginning, and if she participates in 3 championships with some world level championships, it's because it's not a beginning anymore, and this gaining experience, it should move on to a student. So when he's a new old dancer, should be always a new old dancer, and can mix levels. When you can reach to students the pre-professional and the professional level, here you can have a dancer that can, in different techniques, be, for example, student in one technique and pre-professional in another technique. And if I give you an example, a student can be have a level in ballet, for example, can be students in ballet, but for example, in salsa or in hip-hop, it's pre-professional because has it's a teacher of hip hop, but it's just start doing ballet, for example. This is possible to mix the levels. What is the question and what you should be aware of? You just can have level change between the next near superior or inferior level. What this means? That, for example, a student may become pre-professional in some technique modalities, as I was saying, is student in ballet, pre-professional in hip hop, but can be student and professional, just can be in the nearest superior or inferior level. For example, student in pre-professional, a dancer can be student in one modality and pre-professional in the other technique, or a pre-professional in one technique and professional in another technique. It is not allowed for a dancer to be student and professional, and these changes cannot happen. The student dancer to change to pre-professional and then from pre-professional to professional. As I was saying, the new dancer levels does not apply to these level changes. Now, moving on to divisions. Any question? As I was saying, write it. I'll try to say it if I miss something. As I was saying, I'm just pointing out the updates so you'll be aware of all the changes in our organic code, and for some technical and specific in terms of technical specifications, we'll have new meetings with the technical director Sandra and with our teachers responsible for each of the modalities, explaining each of the modalities. Here, moving on to the divisions of the age divisions. Once again, explaining for the ones that are watching us, and this is not an update, but it's something that I want to tell you because it raises a lot of questions. In all Dance International, all the ages of all the dancers count for the divisions. If you have a group, a duo, a trio, to see in which age divisions you should register the choreography, all the ages count. I give an example. If you have 10 dancers and the youngest one has 8 years old and the oldest one 10 years old, all the dancers are here in children. If another group has the youngest one, yes, for example, 12 years old and the oldest one 14 years old, it's pre-yaws. All the ages count. If you have mixes of ages, we have also divisions that mix the ages. So all the ages count. If, for example, the youngest one is 11 years old and the oldest one is 25 years old, you have the youngest one is 11 years old, the oldest one is 25, so it's open pre-yaws, yaws, and adults, because he's 11 years old, 11 years older, and on and older, so it's because it will mix pre-yaws, yaws, and adults. If it's just, for example, the youngest one has 11 years old or 12 years old, and the oldest one has 16 years old, you have to go to the division that mix these ages. All the ages count. Just to give this warning, because sometimes you have these questions. In all dance, all the ages count, so we can be fair for the dancers. In this way, we can make sure that each group are competing with other groups with the same characteristics, with the same levels, with the same ages, and everything is fair with the same mix of dancers. Pointing out the changes. We have here that the Junior Open now is just to starting at the 4 years old to match with the lower age you have in Pre-Mini, that is 4 years old. And then we have here in open production all ages starting in 4 years old, and in open productions all levels, all ages and all levels starting in 4 years old. And with this mention that I warn you that for the applying for the special award of all dance production excellence level open, just the big groups apply. The small groups just apply to best director, best choreography, best choreography, among others. But for the open production excellence level open, just the big groups apply. How it's here, just to mention. And then we have this all new division that we are presenting and introducing to all the world, that is the division gold. Division gold is just for small and large groups for the answers that are 30 years and older. They will exclusively registrate as open. In this division gold, 30 years and older, we just have the level open that makes all the levels. I will also get there. I will go back and explain that I just noticed that updates, but I will explain also the levels so you can explain, as I did with the ages. But here we have these new divisions. If you have a group that all the dancers have 30 years and older, you can, small or large groups, you can register that groups has gold in the level open. If the ages, for example, from 20 years old and 30 years old, if it is solos, duos, and trios, you can continue to register that choreographies and adults. This is a new division for groups that are old dancers more than 30 years old. And just getting back here, sorry for this, explaining the levels, since I do the ages, because sometimes you have some doubts, and I will use this meeting also to point out the updates and clarify these doubts. That in the levels, when we register a choreography, the dancer should be all in the level that you are registered. If it's a choreography that is a student level choreography, all the dancers should be in student. All the dancers should be in all dancers if it's a choreography in all dancers. The same here in pre-professional and professional. When you have the open pro, is because you are mixing dancers that are pre-professional and professional. If you have a student open, is because you have, in here you can have all the ages that you can mix. It can be duos, trios, and groups. You are mixing in student open choreographies that mix dancers that are new old dancers and students. And if you mix in duos, trios, or groups, students from new old dancers and students, it's student open. And that was a place that it's also here a change, because now you can have in level open small groups, and I pointed out that these small groups cannot participate in the Open Production Excellence Open, but I want to point out that until 2024 in level open you could just have big groups. Now you can have small groups. But again, this level open is when you mix the other levels. For example, you have students with pre-professionals, or with professionals, or new old dancer with students and pre-professionals. All the times that you mix all the levels is in open. But here you can not have duos nor trios, just can have groups, small or large groups. It's always some error that sometimes in questions people have. You cannot mix in a duo or a trio a pre-professional or professional with a student or new old dancer. The students and new old dancers just can dance with pre-professionals and professionals in groups, small or large groups. You can mix new old dancers and students in duos, trios, or groups in open students. You can mix duos, trios, or groups of pre-professionals and professionals in open pro, but to mix all the levels, to mix students or new old dancers with pre-professionals or professionals, just in groups. It's not possible to have a duo or trio mixing new old dancers and students with pre-professionals or professionals, just groups in this level open. Just to point out, it's always a question that's raised in this revision. Please, it's here in the rules, in the organic code. Read all the organic code, will help you have a smoothly registration in all dance, and that you don't have any questions when you are subscribing and registered. Continue. In the subdivisions, we don't have any changes. We continue to the solo, duet, other still small group and big groups with the same numbers of participants. In the choreographic time, the same. Here you can see the maximum choreographic time you can have for each subdivisions. 2 minutes for soloists, duets, trios, 2 minutes and a half for small groups, 3 minutes and a half for big groups. And if for some reason, for some creative and expressive needs of the artist, of the choreographer, you can have additional choreographic time. It has a cost. You have to check with the organization of the championship you will participate, with your executives of the national, the regional, the continental, the beach, the world championships, and check what's the cost of this additional time. And so you can buy some additional time for your choreographies. Please be aware, these are the maximum time allowed for the subdivision. Solos, duos, trios, 2 minutes, small group 2 minutes and a half, big groups 3 minutes and a half. If you need more time, you can buy the new time. If you don't buy this additional time, you'll have a deduction in your points. So please be aware of the duration of your music tracks, so you don't have any unnecessary deductions, and you just have don't have any unnecessary deductions, and you have all the best ranking that you can have in your choreography. Here, a small change you have is to clarify that the extra time can only be acquired until the final program is there. If you need extra time, you should ask it until the final program. You can ask it in the moment of your registration. If for some reason you miss it, when you receive the preliminary program, you should check if the extra time is there. You have a column for the extra time in the preliminary program. If you need extra time and it is not there, you should ask it until the final program. Please be aware of this so you don't have any unnecessary deduction. Moving on to the championships. Here in the championships, we don't have any, in this first part, any major changes. We just are detailing our championships. I think you know all of our championships. I'll just point out. We have our World Championship, all dance world. As I always say, the dancer should participate in the championship because it's a unique experience. You should participate in all dance championships, but it's a unique experience. We have our All Dance Intercontinental, for example, All Dance America, All Dance Europe. We have this continental, we have All Dance Intercontinental. Our skipping one of our championships because we have the continental and then the intercontinental. In the All Dance Intercontinental is a championship designed so we can have these matches between continents, and so you can also travel and see new continents. You know because in our social networks, but this year 2025 the All Dance Intercontinental will be together with All Dance Europe in Spain, in Tarragona. So it's opportunity so the dancers from all around the world can travel to Tarragona in Spain and participate in this All Dance Intercontinental. So in here, as I say, All Dance World is in Orlando. So it's a championship designed so you can participate with all the dancers around the world. I will just finish this and I'll answer here a question. And then in all that we have the All Dance Continental. The All Dance Continental, it's how I was saying, the Continental Championship. You have All Dance America, All Dance Europe, All Dance Asia. So you can have the title for the championship of your continent. And then you have the All Dance Regionals. We have, for example, the All Dance Central America and Caribbean, the All Dance South America from some regional championships. Our special edition, all the years, that also I will always advise, it's also a unique experience. I told you should go there. It's All Dance Beach in this year 2025 in Cancun. And then we have our All Dance Nationals, the qualifiers to all of these international championships. You have to go through your All Dance qualifiers, All Dance Nationals. And here I want to point out these changes in the qualifications, that to participate in All Dance World, it's the top tick choreographies that participate. In the All Dance Intercontinental, All Dance Continental, and All Dance Regionals is the top 5. And for All Dance this is the direct pass. What this means that you just need to participate in an All Dance National qualifier so you can participate directly in all dance beach, but to participate in the all dance regionals, all dance continental, all dance intercontinental, and all dance world, you should have this ranking top 3 or top 5, so you get your choreographies qualified to these international finals. So you should register in the all dance nationals, so you qualify to represent your country and defend your flag in our all dance in your dance world finals, the regionals, continental, intercontinental, and world. And now the question, I can answer for you. We have here a question in the chat about the extra time. They were asking if the extra time is per dancer or per choreography, and here's a member of our team of All Dance International has replied, you should ask your local director, because this changes from championship. There is championships that the extra time is paid per dancer. There are championships that the extra time is paid per choreography. So you should check with the local director, the executives that are running your championship. You have all the contacts in the invitation, on the webpage, on the social networks, in the WhatsApp. You should check that, because it depends on the championships. Continue here in check out and see. Please be aware, this has changed now. To qualify to the World Championship is top 3. To qualify to Intercontinental, Continental, and Regionals is top 5. Continue in our changes in the generalities of the championships. I want to point out that here we have a difference about the number of solos, duos, and trios that can be registered for the same dancer in a championship. Just a minute, please. If you have a dancer, a new dancer, then you can register a maximum of 3 choreographies in solos, duos, and trios. It just can be 1 solo per each new all dancer. This is new. And if you have a dancer in student, pre-professional, professional, open student, and open pro levels, you can just have 5 choreographies in solos, duos, or trios, and the dancer can just have a maximum of 3 solos. This is a change that you must be aware of, that now we have this maximum. You can present them. You don't have any limit of choreographies that you want to present in groups, but in solos, duos, and trios, you can have just 5 choreographies for each dancer, and maximum of 3 solos in student, pre-professional, professional, open student, and open pro. In a new all dancer, 3 choreographies of solo, duo, and trio, maximum 1 solo. And another rule that it's also a change, it's very important. So you have a fair rule for everyone. We have here that the schools should confirm their participation in the international final championships that they have qualified. Otherwise, we'll continue in the next group in the corresponding top. This means that after your national qualifier, you'll have a date that you have to confirm that if you will participate or not in the international finals, if you go to the continental, to the world, to the intercontinental, or to the beach championships. If you do not confirm that you will participate in these finals, in these international finals, we will continue in the next group, in the next choreography that has qualified in the top. For example, if you have top 5, if one of the choreographies in the top 5 doesn't confirm that we'll participate in the international finals, we will invite the choreography in the 6th position to participate. So we can assure that each country has all the available spots in the international finals represented, and that none country are, in this case, penalized, so we don't have all the spots there, so he can challenge for all the prizes. Here I have a question also about what can be performed in New Old Answer. I again invite you here because it's all detailed here. Please read here. It's what you can do, single turns. You have to have 2 hands on the floor to be in New Old Answer. You can read all these details here, and as I said in the beginning, there will be a new meeting with just more specified technical details for each of these questions of dance modalities and levels that can be that you explain. Now my main goal is pointing out the changes, because the changes can make all the difference in your registration, and so everyone has the good registration. I'm pointing out the changes, but please, I advise you to read all these descriptions, and then in the judgments I will get there, because it's also some information that I will point out about the levels. Continue here, sorry. I'll continue here. So I was saying that you need to confirm your presence in the finals, otherwise we'll go on with this registration. And then I advise you to read here all these informations. It's not, you will not have any changes, but I advise you to read. For example, here it's clarified that to participate in the national qualifier, you have to reside in that country for at least 6 months. This is not new, but is more highlighted. And for example, here also some things that are more highlighted, that late registration, the registration is until 45 days. If your championship allowed late registration after the date, we'll have some extra fee for this late registration, some administrative sanctions. This cannot happen in all championships. You should check with your local director, but if it is allowed, would have some late fee for these late registrations. And one thing a lot and super important is that the choreographies will only be assigned in the program, will only appear in the program, if the registration is paid, full paid, or in advance payment when you do the registration. If you don't do the payment in the date that are stipulated for the payments, for the final payment be done, your choreographies will not be included in the program. And this will be here and in a lot of places, so it stay a lot clear. Methods of execution, it's the same, it didn't change. We don't hope you have any doubts here in a hybrid or live, but we continue here. Also here in the segments, we have a new change. We already had blocks of competitions in Alders. For example, if until 2024, if you have a block with more than 40 choreographies, will be split. From now on, it will be 30 choreographies, so it will be fair to all the dancers. What this means, if you have, for example, a block in contemporary dance that has 30 groups, we will split these groups in groups of 15 choreographies approximately. And if it is these groups, if it is, for example, for solos or duos, will be ordered by the closest age amongst the dancers. For example, if it is 30 solos and you have 50 solos in a group A and 15 solos in group B, they will be organized for the closest age, so it will be the most fair possible. And then and also some changes, we have our uncensored segments. We already had these uncensored segments in the last organic code, that the schools can ask to participate in these uncensored segments, uncensored blocks. So you don't have any deductions for inappropriate movements or sexually explicit movements. They should be asked. And then you can have here what submodalities can apply for these uncensored segments. In this case, we added, and this is the change, the reggaeton and the hill. Just to be, and then all the divisions, you have the go-go, so all can apply. subdivisions just for groups, and the levels. Just to be clear, this is a specific segments and blocks that should be asked. It's not automatically. If you want to participate in these uncensored blocks, you should ask your local director, your executives, so that you can participate in these blocks. It's also here explained. In this primary program, you have also this information about the payments of the registration, otherwise will not appear in the program. And here is also more clarified information about the schedule. Here, yes, the choreography should have our choreography and leaders needs to have the bracelet of leader to enter the backstage with the dancers. We have some rules also. We designate some bracelets of leaders for each number of dancers. So you should check with your local director because it changed from each championship to see how you can get this choreographer or leader bracelet. For example, there is championship where it's for each 10 dancers, can change from other championships, but to access the backstage, you need to have the leader bracelet. Continue. Here, we don't have any changes. I advise you to read all this information about the venue entry that I was saying, that you should reach 2 hours before the performance with the respective bracelet. As we saying, we have the dancer bracelet and we have the leader bracelet with these attributions. Usually in the informations of the championship, in the invitation letter with the PDF with information, you have there what is the number of dancers for each leader and how you can acquire a new leader bracelet if you need to get more leaders than the ones that you are designated. So you can check all that in the PDF or ask your local director or executives. Moving on now to a very important part of the judgment, because we have some changes here, something that were clarified, some fears that are more clear and detailed in the judgment. Here in the judgment, everything is more detailed and some things are more are adjusted. So we continue to have the 70 points for the modality and criteria scoring for our modality scoring and technique scoring, and we have 30 points for the complementary scoring. Again, I just pointing out the changes. There will be a more detailed and specific technique reunion meeting with our technical director and the teachers and judges from each modality, so they can explain you some more technical details with more time. I'm just pointing out the main changes and updates. Here you can see it's all detailed, so you can check, and I advise you, all new directors, choreographers, even dancers, to read all these criteria, because if you read this, you can adjust your choreographies, you can see your choreographies and correct some questions that you could have, you may have, so you can have perfect performances in the championships. If you read this and then if you review your choreographies, you can see what the judges are expecting from you. And you have here all these criteria of the modality: specific technique, execution, difficulty, musicality, choreography, creative, intellectual property, and repertoire and K-pop. What I will point out that you should read, there is some criteria that can change if it is a group, if it is a solo, or if it is a duo, trio, or group. And sometimes the points change because of that. For example, I give here in the complementary, in the use of stage, you have different points if it is, for example, a solo, or if it is a duo, trio, or group. And all these matches with all the rules and all the criteria, but you have to be aware of this, that these points can change. So I advise you, I invite you to come here, read each of one of these criteria to understand what the judges will be expecting on the stage, in the modality scores, in the complementary scores. Now going to the deductions. Here we had some changes. In the execution deductions, in the trips or falls, we have new points. Here usually be 0.5 and 1 point. Now a trip is 0.25, a quarter of point of deductions, and a fall is half of a point, 0.5 of deductions. That will be applied if the dancer has a trip or a fall. And then also here, the same, I advise you to read the poor executive moments, the wardrobe accidents, throwing items to the audience, even if it's on the stage. I advise you to read all of these so you don't have any inconvenience in the to have any inconvenience on your presentation, on your choreography. And then continue here with these technical deductions. We also have some changes. For example, in incorrect division. And this is, attention, please, aware of please all people attention, because this is a question that most of you ask during or before the championships. With the incorrect divisions, you have two different deductions. Could be 5 points if you register in the incorrect subdivisions. For example, if you register a trio has a duo, or if it is you register has a big group and you just have 11 dancers. That is 5 points because you have registered the choreography in the incorrect subdivisions. But another different deductions is if you don't maintain the subdivisions at least 80% of the performance on the stage. In that case, it's 3 points. What this means, if you have, for example, a trio, if you register a trio, and in the more than 80% of the choreography, there are not 3 dancers on the stage, there are just 2 dancers on the stage, you'll have 3-point deductions because it's not a real trio. For example, if it is a 2-minute choreography and for 1 minute and 50 seconds, you have just 2 dancers, we are not complying with this, and you'll be deducted 3 points. If it is, for example, the group, but you don't have at least in 80% of the choreography the 13 dancers on the stage, you'll have this deduction because you don't have the big group in the most of the choreography on the stage. Please be aware, this is a clarify of this rule. It's here, it has these new different deductions. Not new, it's already existed, but it's these different differentiated deductions. Another one that I want to point out, I advise you to read all these, the incorrect division, if it's not in the right division, the forbidden elements. You cannot use chewing gum, bubble gum, or other items that simulates the act of chewing during performance. This is for the protections of the dancers, and you have to be aware that all these forbidden elements is for protections of the dancers, and especially the falling dancers. Because what happens sometimes is, I know for my dancers here you think okay, but then you leave some right here, feathers, some liquids, water, something in the stage, and that could cause an accident for the next dancer, or can lead to the championship to be stopped, and that will it's never is good if you stop the championship and if you delay and prejudice the dancers that came after you. So please be aware of these forbidden elements. You also have here the excessive use of acrobatics, explaining what counts as an acrobatics. Below this we have more details, so keep up with me. And these new deductions for the new all dancers. If you have a dancer that is a new all dancer that really is a new all dancer, so you don't have any level deduction because that dancer it's really a beginner, and you see that is a dancer that are starting and is really a new all dancer, but use forbidden elements, for example, 180-degree jumps, one-handed acrobatics or no-handed acrobatics, double or highly complex spins, jumps, and combined spins. For example, a cartwheel, round off, all of these movements, you have a 2-point deduction. It will be considered, if the dancer is a new dancer, you don't have a deduction for the wrong levels, but you have a deductions for being for using an element that is forbidden in the new old dancer. Again, you should continue reading all this, and I will just point out, as I said in the modalities, please, directors, please, choreographers, be aware of your music tracks. If it doesn't have inappropriate, profane language or music, please be aware of your musics. You should be aware that all dance is a family event. Our blocks, with the exception with the known essential blocks that we spoke, that you should ask, is not automatically. All dance is a family event, so we shouldn't have any inappropriate, profane language or music. Please revise your music. If you have these words, you have a deduction of 2 points for its occurrence. We have a list, Always International, of all the prohibited words. Please request it for your local representative, for your local director, your executives. For this list, if you want to check the words, please get this list to see if the words are there. Please be aware that all the languages counts. It's not just the language that you understand. It's not if you are in music English or Spanish or Portuguese music or French music that you understand and have inappropriate words. If you have a Chinese music that have inappropriate words, it will count in every language. Please be aware to revise your music tracks. Any doubts, please ask for the list of prohibited words. I advise you to be aware, be cautious, be aware of this rule. Continue. I advise you to read all these. It's not changed, but to read all these deductions. Now, a change in the use of scenery. This is a rule that has raised some questions. Now you have a distinct deductions from the in the use of scenery. You have 10 points or 5 points. What's the difference? The difference, you have a deduction of 10 points if you use a scenery that creates this sense of place, of charities, such as image, objects, but you don't include it in the routine. What is the scenery? What is the use of scenery? Is when you use some elements, some movable elements that are not part of the choreography, that you don't use the choreography, that are on the that should be brought on the stage by the participants. Attention, this is also a deduction. The staff or leaders, the teachers, the choreographers cannot enter the stage, just the dancers. If the dancers cannot put the address, these props in the stage, you cannot put it. Just the dancers can put on the stage the props, whatever they use should be the dancers. Otherwise, it's here you have a deduction. Just the dancers can enter the stage. No teacher, no choreographer, no staff, no director can enter the stage. Please be aware of this. And then, if you have these elements that create a sense of place, of character, that are not incorporated and used in the choreography for more than 20%, or at least in 20% of the choreography, you lose 10 points. If you have a prop, for example, a radio, a table, a chair, something that are not contributing to create an atmosphere, but also are not used in at least 20% of the choreography, the dancer should interact. That should be part of the choreography. A question that the choreographer should ask yourself is, if I take this prop from the stage, the choreography continue to make sense? Because if you don't use it, you could take it, because you would understand. If it's there just to people understand what is the choreography, but is not used by the movement, it don't make any sense. The prop should be to be used on the choreography, should be used on the choreography, should be make sense for the dancer, should have interaction with the dancer for at least 20%, as it's here that I'm pointing out in the rules. Otherwise, you have can have deductions. And of course, you should also consult your local All Dance International representative, your local representative, executive, director, for the use of scenery, because it should be allowed by the organization, for the local director, for all the logistics that would comprehend. And I just point out, it has no difference, no update here, but I have talked about the routine time. If you exceed the time and if you didn't buy any extra time, you will have reductions for 3 points for every 5 seconds. Please be aware of this. Also, a new change in intellectual property, that's the claim that you are doing some plagiarism. If you know that some choreography is plagiarism of other choreography is a plagiarism, you should warn the organization until 30 minutes before the award ceremony, so the deduction is applied. Going to the ethical principles and deductions, we don't have, I advise you to read all these. We don't have any changes here, but I advise you to have the same all of the years. Sometimes it is important, all that are barriers obstructing the judges. For example, fans in parents obstructing the judges in front of the judges. Be aware of this. It can lead to a deduction. So please read all this. And then a new article that are in the rules. Attention, all the people in this meeting. This is a new article that are detailing the acrobatics. What are the acrobatics allowed and what kind of acrobatics are allowed in each modality? For example, in all dance ballet, repertoire, or new creation, there's no acrobatics allowed. If it is neoclassical contemporary, it's one. You can see what is considered an acrobatic here. All the description of acrobatic is with any movement involving the rotation of the hips over the head or the position of the hips over the head. 2 or more consecutive elements will be counted as a single acrobatic move. Acrobatics will performed in the group by one or more dancers simultaneous counts as one single acrobatic. So you have a table here to help you understand the limits of acrobatics in each modality. And in some cases, you have no limit, but you have a maximum of percentage of the choreography. For example, in cabaret salsa, it's here in the comments. For example, in the oldest commercial, this comment is you have 2 acrobatic, including leap, or in reggaeton the same. In all dance show, you have no limits, but you have the maximum of 40% of the choreography. And for example, in accordance, minimum 5 and no maximum. So you have all these detail. This is new. Please pay attention to this table. Is new, so you don't have any doubt about the acrobatics. Going to the prohibition, I want to point out the same. We'll have here the maximum number of solos, duos, and trios that you can have. Here it's the same that it was in the other place in the chain. Is pointing out again here. And I invite you to read all these rules. For example, that you cannot access the stage before the directors of any member of the school can access the stage before doing the participation. You can just go there when you're called for the award ceremony. You cannot record with professional cameras. For example, if you have any infraction, you can be disqualified. We cannot respect. That all of the people participating, directors, choreographers, participants, staff, judges, managers, are prohibited to have bad behavior or indiscipline. Again, this is a family event. We are here for the dance. We are here for the dancers. So we should have proper manners. Another thing that I want to point out to you, this is not new. This is what changed last year. Now it's more clear, so you don't have any doubt about the score range to get the places. For example, in new all dancers, to get the first place, you have to minimum of 82 points. Your second place between 72 and 81.9. Third place 62 to 71.9. If it is student or open student, it's 85 for first place. 75 to second place, 65 to third place. If it is pre-professional, professional, open pro, and open, first place 87, second place 77, third place 67. So you need a minimum score to get the places. Even if you are alone in your category, just one choreography, and for example, we have a student choreography, to get the first place, even if you are alone, you need 85 points. This is a thing that you should be aware when we are talking to the dancers and preparing all the information. Continue now to the special awards. Here, I want also to point out some changes about this. You have all these detailed awards, the titles of the special awards we have some new special awards, has the best delegation and best friends. I will explain to you. And before I move on with this, to people watching us, please read the special awards so you can prepare your registration and do your inscription, your registrations the best way so you can apply to the prizes. Sometimes schools ask us, why didn't I was nominated to this prize, or why didn't I won this prize? Because sometimes you didn't respect these rules to be nominated. You have some rules, you have some minimum rules you have to comply to be nominated to these prizes, all these prizes. So please read this page to see if you respect these minimum requirements to be nominated for the prizes. I will review all of them, so you'll be aware, and I will point out the changes. In the Grand Core events, it's this high award for the division and level. We have 4 Grand Core events: junior, student level, pre-professional, and professional. And what do you need? You need to have at least 5 group choreographies in 3 different techniques modalities. So, to be nominated to one of these Grand Core events, you have to have 5 groups in the respective division and level. For example, for the Grand Core event junior, you need 4 groups in pre-mini, mini, children, or open junior. In the student level or open student level, you have here the table. In mini, children, junior open, I said pre-mini is not pre-mini, just mini, children, junior open, groups in student or open student. And you have 5 groups, so you have in the Grand Core event junior. If you want to participate in the Grand Core event student, pre-youth, youth, and adults, you need 5 groups that are in student or student open, in pre-youth, youth, adults, open pre-youth and youth, open pre-youth and youth and adults, open pre-youth and adults. You need 5 choreographies in these ages, groups, 5 groups in these ages, in these levels to apply here. And for the other ones, the same, please, because sometimes when we are preparing, you can prepare this and you can plan your registration, you can plan your competitive year, so you can apply to these prizes. One thing we point out is for the Grand Core event junior and Grand Core event students, it's 85 points, and if it is for the pre-professional or professional, it's 87 points from the minimum average to win these prizes. Moving on, let me just go here. 37. We are all from around the world. I'm in the country that now it's in North Hemisphere, so we are in winter in January, and most of us has some cold. So continue. The prize for best dancer, male and female, in student levels. We don't have any major changes. We just clarify here the minimum average to win the prizes. If it is in the student level, it's 85 points. If it is in the pre-professional and professional level, it's 87 points. How you can win this award? The dancers But to be nominated, should dance at least, and it's here. So you can have here, so I can point out for you. At least 3 choreographies in different technique modalities. 2 of these performances must be a solo and 1 group, and is accompanied by 1 duo, trio, or group. So, to be clear, you have to have minimum of 3 choreographies in 3 different techniques. What is different techniques? Is the major techniques. I'll go here just to explain to you. And this applies also to the grand choreography. And every time we say it's different techniques, it's different modalities. For example, if it is in old dance ballet, this is always the same technique. Neoclassic, unique creation. It's inside old dance ballet. This is considered for the special awards the same technique. For example, in jazz, the same. You have different kinds of jazz, but for the purpose of the special awards, we just consider all dance jazz. This is also a question that some people ask us. If we have 3 choreographies, but it's between different types of jazz, it doesn't count, it doesn't apply for the special awards. You have to look for these modalities. Sorry, it's not judgment, it's awards. Continue. So, when you are here in the grand choreography, it's the same, the 3 modalities. When you are here in the best dancers, you have to have 3 choreographies in different technique modalities. 1 should be a solo, the second one should be a group, the third choreography should be a duo, trio, or group. If you have more choreographies, just will count the choreographies to make this happen. So you have 1 solo, 1 group, and the third one should be a duo, trio, or group, the best score you have, if you maintain the 3 different unique techniques. And then you can see how the scores apply, how we do all these scores, and which apply. For example, the best dancer for children divisions, it will apply the choreographies in children, junior, open production, children, and pre-youth. In the all subdivisions, solo, duo, trio, group, in students or student open. And from now on, in this table, you can check. My advice: see a dancer, see which choreographies the dancer do, and see if it matches with the requirements here in the subdivisions and the ages and all that. Continue. The open production excellence, the same. You need to have 3 choreographies in 3 different techniques. The same, different techniques. It's not submodalities, it's techniques. If it is 3 groups in open production children and pre-youth, in open production all ages, in student and student open, you apply for the open production excellence student level. If it is in here, you can have small groups and big groups. For the open production all ages and all levels, level open, you have the open production excellent open. For example, you need in just big groups. For example, you need to have 3 big groups that are competing in 3 different techniques in the division open production, all ages and all levels, level open. In this case, you will apply to this prize. Same, you will need to have a minimum average of points, 85 for student level and 87 for the open level. Another change, best school of the year. You have best school of the year in the world, the continental, intercontinental, all the championships. What we have changed here, very important, please directors be aware because this is a change. To be nominated to this prize, you need to dance at least 4 dance styles or techniques in 2 different segments of modalities classification of the new groups that I talked you about. I'll go back again here so it's be clear, because this rule will apply to dance, the best school and best director. We have these groups we created: academic, stage dancers, world culture, social dancers, urban styles, dance and show. To apply to best school or best director is the next prize. You need to have 4 different techniques, or we are talking about ballet, contemporary, jazz, Arabic, ethnic, each one of these techniques, in 2 different groups. For example, academic stages, role, culture, social dancers. An example, if you have the choreographies that to be the best school, you comply to all the other requirements of best director. I will talk to you about the requirements, but you just have choreographies you have 4 different styles: ballet, contemporary, jazz, and musical theater. It's the 4 styles here. You don't have 2 different groups. You will not be nominated because you don't have the minimum requirements to apply to those prizes. You need, for example, to have choreographies in ballet, contemporary, and then 2 other from other group. Even if it's jazz, 3, and then you need to have, for example, a style from other group, or dance show open, hip hop, whatever. You need to have 4 different techniques in 2 different groups of style dances. Please be aware, this is a change of this year to be always do this change to turn our rules in organic code more fair possible. It's very possible, so please be aware this is a change. Returning here, resuming here for best school, best school. So, as I say, 4 different techniques in 2 separate segments of modality classification. How do you be nominated? You'll be nominated for a Grand Prix event or Open Production Excellence. We see that before. It is above in the page. So you need to be eligible and nominated for a Grand Prix event or Open Production Excellence. You need to be nominated for a Best Director. You have to have at least 1 choreographer to be nominated for Best Choreography, and you have to have at least 3 years of experience as a school within the dance industry. And now you have these 4 list dance techniques in 2 separate segments of each modality and classification. For the International Championship, only the schools that were in the top 10 of schools that wins this award in the National Championship will be nominated. If you didn't apply don't be nominated for this prize in the national qualifiers and don't stay in the top 10, you can't apply for this prize in the international championships, to be clear. Here you have how you can win the prize. For each Grand Prix event you win, you have 3 points, Open Production 3 points, Back Director 3 points, Best Choreographer 2.5 points. For each core event, each choreography you have with 90 points or more, you have 1 point. Now a change also in the academy. This is not change, sorry, I was misleading. In the academy trajectory, it's the same. You have here the championship that apply, the All Pacific Continental, Regionals, in Beach Championship. You have the trajectory, and then you have the revelations. Here, it's the difference. From now on, you just have revelation, and for the first time in the All Dance Nationals, you will have all the revelation in the International Championships. For being awarded or be nominated for this revelation school, you have to have at least 10 group performances. This is the change. The new All Dancers don't apply to best dancer. They have special prizes I'll get there. We'll have special prizes just for the new All Dancers. These prizes, the new All Dancers don't apply for the best dancer special awards. In the Revelation School, you need 10 group performances. You need 10 group performances to be eligible to this, and then you have this qualifications method that you have to have at least 75% of your choreographies need to have first places with a minimum of average of 85 points. You have here which applies. All divisions, all the ages, all the groups in all the levels, but just groups. For Best Director. Attention, we also have here some changes in the Best Director choreography, in the Best Director prize, special awards. Here you need, in the 2024 rules in organic code, you need 20 choreographies. Now you need 10 choreographies, but should be group choreographies. To be nominated for the prize of Best Director, you need 10 group choreographies with a minimum of 2 large groups. please pay attention to this change. You need 10 group choreographies with a minimum of 2 large groups. And among these choreographies, you have to have at least 4 different dance styles in that are from 2 separate segments to these group modalities. As I was saying, you have 4 different styles, 4 different modalities that belongs to different groups, agrupations of modalities. You have the academic style, the urban styles, the social dances. You should be aware of these changes with a minimum also of the average of 85 points. In this, if you have any doubt, check these tables, because in these tables you can check which choreographies, which divisions, which subdivisions, which levels apply to each prize. For the best choreography, we also have these changes. Now, for best choreography, you need to have a minimum of 5 group choreographies. Until now, it was just 5 choreographies. Now on, from the 2025 rules, is 2 5 group choreographies. You don't have any minimum style, but you have to have 5 group choreographies. Continue here. In also applies all divisions, groups, all levels. The best choreography, you don't have any change. It's the group choreography that have the best score in the championship. We have the honor mentions for the highest score in each modality. It's the same. You need to have the average, the minimum 85 points. It's the choreography with the highest score in each modality. The best delegation. This is a new prize you have, the best delegation. So we can stimulate this participation of all this family, because we all should be as a family. And here is, as we're saying, to recognize the highlights and the commitment of all delegation, all the people that go support and giving support to these amazing and beautiful dancers. And we have here how we can award these points. So you can read all these new prize and commit with this best delegation. The best delegation, as we say, from uniforms that has this identity to all to comply with all the rules, to have the for example, if you have a mascot, if you have a logo, if they have exemplary conduct, if it has their territorial or insignia or flags in the uniform, or in the stage, chant or signature. All of these give you points so you can win this best delegation. Please read carefully. Any doubts, just ask. This is a new special prize that you can have to win this special delegation. And then you have the best fans, or the best fans supporting all the dancers. So here we have our delegation, all the people that participate in the delegation, the dancers, the directors, the companions, all the people that are part of this all best delegation. And then we have the best fans, for the fans supporting and giving energy, this contagious energy that we are sharing for our dancers on the stage. And to win these best delegations will not be the intensity of the chants, but will be also the visual impact, the accessories that they use. And these will have special moments before in the beginning of the block and the end of the block. So a special mention, this should not be during the choreographies, so we don't disturb the judging of the choreographies, and the judge can be with the whole attentions, but will be special moments that the fans can show their support. And you have here some registration. Now the new old dancers that someone was asking, here are the prizes for the new old dancer. We have these best new old dancers. You have also to have the 5 group choreographies in at least 3 different techniques to apply to this prize of best new old dancer. We have the best creative is the best choreography in the new old dancers. You need to have 5 group choreographies in the new old dancer level. The best choreography solo, duet or trio, and best group choreography in new old dancers. So here you can check all the special prizes for the new old dancer level. How you can apply this best new old dancer is 5 group choreographies in 3 different techniques. The best creative is for the best choreography in the new old dancer level. Here also 5 group choreographies in the new old dancer level. The best solo, duet, trio, and group choreography in the new old dancer level. There are not best dancers and new old dancers, since these dancers are beginners. So to be nominated for best dancer, you should dance from the student level and above. Student level, pre-professional, and professional. You also have the special restrictions, as we will have here in the student prizes in pre-professional and professional, has a minimum score. You have to be eligible. You can defend all titles. For example, winning choreographies will be showcased again in international finals within the same season. If you win those choreographies in the national qualifiers, that choreography should be the one you will defending the title in the international choreography in the international finals. So this is also here very clear. And you will reach the end of all this explanation. This is how I was saying in the beginning. These are the major updates in our organic code, our rules. You should always come here to alldance.com to read all the rules. Be aware of all the rules. Please read the details of each dance modalities, which levels and divisions should your dances apply. Please read the judgment with all the scoring so you can see what the judges expect from you, how the championships are organized. See how you can apply to these special awards. Sometimes just adding 1 or 2 choreographies and you can be eligible and nominated to a special award. And this could make all the difference for your dancers, for your families, for your choreographers. So please read all the rules. If you have any doubt, as I was saying, today I just point out the updates so you'll be aware that we have some changes. Some of them are major changes. So I was pointing out the updates. Please read all the rules carefully. Please be aware of all the changes. If you have any doubt, we are always available for you. All Dance International team are always available to take any doubt from you. Please contact your local director, contact your executives, local executives, the championship executives, and ask any doubt you have. You can come here to the rules, read all the rules, and if you have any doubt, please contact us, reach us. And as I was saying in the beginning and during this meeting, there will be a new meeting with more technical details from our international director, Sandra. She had some indisposition and could not be here today, but she will be accompanied with our teachers and judges that are responsible for each modality, so they can review with detail the specific technique details of each modality. Today, our goal was to specify the major updates and give some highlights, and then there will be new meetings for you to be having these specific details from dance modalities, so you can take any doubts with more technical specifications and not so generally about the organic code. And if you have any dates, we don't have already any dates, but we'll announce it soon, and don't worry, so everyone can take any doubts you have about the specific modalities. And if you have any specific doubt, you can also reach your local director or executive so you can take the doubts about the choreography. They are always, I was saying, available for any doubts. And just to remind, it's about in 2 hours, in 12 p.m. In Panama time. It's from 2 hours and 50 minutes from now, if I'm not wrong in these time change calculations. That's 12 p.m. Panama time. Please go to Google, to your phone, and see what's the time difference from Panama to your country. And you will have this meeting in Spanish with our ex-team colleague Daniela Palacios, our coordinator from All Dance International, the sub-leader of the school, sub-director of the School of Leaders. She will leading this meeting in Spanish. So at 12 p.m. Panama time, check the time difference, we'll have again this meeting in Spanish for the people that prefer to accompany this meeting in Spanish. I thank you all a lot for your time. I just want to wish you a lot of luck for this new competitive year that you are starting now. I hope to see you in All Dance International, in your national qualifiers, the continental, the intercontinental, the regionals, the beach qualifiers, the world finals, or in all international finals, international qualifiers. I hope to see you there. It's a unique experience. Each championship is a unique experience. So any doubt you have, just reach us. I wish you good luck. I hope you and your dancers help us grow this dance industry so you can get more and more for our dancers and for our dance industry. Thank you so much. In 2 hours, more or less, we'll be here in Spanish. And any doubt, just contact us. Thank you so much. I don't know if there is any doubt, but I will return here. People were writing the doubts, but if you have any doubts, you can ask. You can write it now in the chat. I was saying goodbye, and I remember that you can have any doubts. Holding my phone, but if you don't have any doubts, you can always contact by the social in Instagram, Facebook, email, WhatsApp, your local directors, local executives, and take your doubts. If you don't have any doubts, it's not me, but Daniela will see you in a few hours in Spanish, and we'll keep up here for anything you need. Thank you so much.